Welcome to Basket of Tales, a time travel into the world of stories.
A warm hello from Basket of Tales and Morning Raaga. We are delighted to present this wonderful series of short stories in collaboration with Morning Raaga, Telugu Radio 101.3 FM, a Canadian multicultural radio. Hi, I am Miss S, and today I would like to share a beautiful story called The King's Painting. So come along. Once upon a time, there was a kingdom ruled by a king who was physically challenged. The king had only one leg and one eye, but he was very intelligent and kind. People in his kingdom lived a very happy and a healthy life because their king was very kind and understanding. One day the king was walking through the palace. In the hallway, he saw the portraits of his ancestors and he memorized the past. He thought that one day his children will walk in the same hallway and remember all the ancestors through these portraits. But the king did not have his own portrait painted. Because of his physical challenges, he wasn't sure how his painting would turn out. So then he thought of inviting all the famous painters from around the world to the court. The king then announced that he wants a beautiful painting of himself and which can be placed in the palace next to his ancestors' portraits. Any painter who can carry out this should come forward and he will be rewarded based on how the painting turns up. All of the painters began to think about how to paint a beautiful picture as the king only had one leg and one eye. Many of them thought it is simply not possible. And they were afraid that in case the picture doesn't turn out to look beautiful, then the king might get upset and he might punish them. So, one by one, all started to make excuses and politely declined to make a painting of the king. But suddenly, one painter came forward and said in a confident tone, "Well, Your Highness, I would love to paint your portrait, and you be rest assured that it will be a painting that will be remembered through the generations to come." This surprised the king, and the delighted king gave him the permission to paint his portrait. The entire kingdom started talking about it, as they were very curious how the painter's portrait of the king will turn out. The painter started his work. He carefully placed all his painting material. After a few hours, he began filling the portrait with vibrant colors. And finally, he was able to complete the painting. "Your Highness, your beautiful portrait is ready," he said. All of the courtiers, other painters, were curious and nervous, thinking, how can the painter possibly make the king's portrait so beautiful? Is it really possible? How would the painting look? The king standing with one eye, one leg? What if the king didn't like the painting and got upset? So many questions from people around. But the painter remained calm and quiet. He presented the portrait to the king. The portrait was wrapped in a shiny silk cloth, and it was the time for the king to reveal his own portrait to the court. The king was curious too. And then, there was a big silence in the court. Everyone, including the king, was awestruck and stunned looking at the portrait. The painter made a beautiful portrait in which the king was sitting on the horse on the one leg side, holding his bow and aiming the arrow with his one eye closed. The king was very pleased and amazed by the painter's imagination and the fact that he did not give up like others. The king rewarded him and everyone appreciated his artwork. The moral: we should always look upon others positively and ignore their imperfections. The important thing is to focus on our strengths instead of hiding our weaknesses. When we think and approach positively, even in a negative situation, we have a better chance of solving our problems. So I hope you enjoyed listening to this story today. Stay tuned for more such wonderful stories. See you all soon and happy listening.